drink more alcohol, so more drunkenness and violence. And so we must catch up. What a goal to aim for. 2 very important and accessible books were published last year. They sum up beautifully the green message of hope for a better economy. The first was Tim Jackson's Prosperity Without Growth, which systematically examines the proposal that growth makes us better off and finds it wanting. He then sets out the framework for an economics that genuinely makes people better off without growing output and finds it entirely feasible. The second book illustrates powerfully that social equity is better for everyone, not just the poor. The Spirit Level by Wilkinson and Pickett brings together international data showing that nations with the greatest income equality also have the best health and mental health outcomes, the least crime and lowest imprisonment, the best educational outcomes, the lowest obesity and teenage pregnancy, the lowest infant mortality. A highly stratified, unequal society forces everyone to stress about keeping or improving their place on the social and economic ladder, and it damages the lives of the well-off as well as those of the poor. New Zealand used to be near the top of that equality league table. Now it is the 4th worst of 21 and heading down further. If anyone here wants to understand better the core green message of the last 38 years, read those 2 books. They show why the twin green goals of ecological sustainability and social justice are inseparable. It is not possible to nurture the environment without nurturing people, or the other way round. I said in my maiden speech that Parliament was just a different way of working for the green ideals that had driven my life for decades as a teacher, a writer, a researcher and a community activist. I've enjoyed my time here and I found it satisfying as well as frustrating, especially when it was possible to achieve change for the better. I enjoyed my 6 years chairing the Local Government and Environment Select Committee, seeing my role as neither the Minister's vassal to expedite government policy, nor as the obstructionist to frustrate it. It was possible to work constructively with both sides of the committee table. In my view, select committees are Parliament's opportunity to scrutinise the executive and to knock the silly corners off raw legislation. They are a place to listen to the people, who will have a lot of wisdom about the laws they want if we will only listen to them. They are a place where we can challenge officials to prove their case for the legislation that they've put forward to governments. Perhaps they should be chaired more often by third parties. I particularly enjoyed my 3 years as a quasi-minister, leading the work of ECA on energy efficiency and the solar water heating program. Probably my greatest concrete achievement has been persuading 2 successive governments, Labour and National, that it is worthwhile investing in home insulation on a large scale, combining benefits to health, family well-being, employment, energy demand and carbon emissions. Now the time has come to move on to the next phase of my life. Retirement is not really a concept I can imagine, but I do intend to take the gap year I never had after school, or maybe a gap 6 months, while the head clears and the future takes shape. I'm looking forward to a lot of work on our farm, where Harry has held the fort for too long on his own. I'm looking forward to more family time, more music, films and theatre, and to 3 months in Europe visiting my son and old friends. After that, the work will continue. In what form I don't know yet, but the goals of protecting people and planet will be the same. There are many people I want to thank for their help along the road of the last 13 years. First must be Harry, my rock, who has supported my work, run the farm and the household, put up with my absences and constant exhaustion at hours on the telephone. 13 years ago, he was here in the gallery with my father Jack and my son Mark. Today, Jack is with us only in spirit, but Harry is joined by the new generation, my grandchildren, Jasper and Isabella, and their parents. Jeremy and Sarah, you've been an oasis I've escaped to on an occasional Wednesday. You've listened to my frustrations and elations and fed me after playtime with the kids and sent me back for an evening's work. My grandchildren have been the touchstone of much of my work, and I remember Jasper was once the subject of a whole budget speech because it is he and his friends who will live with the consequences of the decisions that we make here. None of us here could do the work we do without a host of people who make it possible. I have been blessed with some amazing executive assistants. Judith, who knew the parliamentary system so well and guided me into it. Katja, who came straight from uni and then went on to lead our research team. Tanya, unflappable and organised with a passion for conservation. Helen, who loved administration and looked after me like a mother. And Hina, who has got inside my head and my work and may one day do my job. And Rosalie, Sandra and Moira, who ran my office in Thames. Thank you, all of you, for going well beyond the call of duty. There have been so many Green Party staff over the years, I cannot name you all, but I will miss you all as my friends and colleagues. I would particularly mention my heads of staff, Deb Moran and Ken Spagnolo, who took the weight of managing the office off my shoulders. It has been and is a great team with a huge commitment to people and planet. Librarians, thank you for the information you have dug out for me, always on time. The Clerk's Office, thank you for your help in select committees and your advice on procedure. Bellamy's staff and security and messengers and cleaners and building staff, it is humbling to think how many of you all it takes to keep one of us going. May we never take you for granted, and may we use the time and resources that you give us to maximum effect. Fellow MPs, we have argued, joked, fought and strategised over the years. And to all of you who are working your hearts out for something you truly believe in, kia ora. Mr. Speaker, thank you for your efforts to get ministers to at least address the questions. To the people of New Zealand who put their trust in a new political party and allowed us to represent you, thank you. It has been a privilege. And to all the Green Party members and activists, we could not do it without you. The lowest point of the last 13 years was, of course, the death of my beloved co-leader, colleague and friend, Rod Donald. It is rare to have a working relationship blessed with such mutual trust and friendship. He did a lot for this country, and I'm particularly pleased that Nicola and Holly have been able to come tonight. Sadly, his departure was not planned, but mine has been, and I know I leave the Parliamentary Green Party in the excellent hands of Materia and Russell and the team. We are in a transition to a younger generation, with new energy and faces, but the same values and commitment. You are my other family, and I shall miss you, but we will keep in touch. The Green movement is growing stronger worldwide. Kia kaha, you are the hope of the future. Haere rā.
Lovely speech, Jeanette. Thank you.
Order. The time has come for me to leave the chair. I will resume the chair at 7:30.